We have waited a long time. The money is ours, but we cannot get it. We have no food, but here these stores are filled with food. We ask that you, the agent, make some arrangement so we can get food from the stores, or else we may take our own way to keep ourselves from starving. When men are hungry, they help themselves. That quote was by a respected Dakota leader by the name of Little Crow. Little Crow, at the time, was speaking to Agent Thomas Galbraith prior to the start of the U.S. Dakota War of 1862 and expressing his concerns over what is happening to his people. They are starving. They have no food. They are desperate. And as we know now, tensions were on the rise. Before we move on, I want to share a quick short video with you about Little Crow because he is so well known in our state as being such a respected leader. And he does definitely have some input into what direction the traditional Dakota will go in with regards to how are they going to handle those tensions that they are having with all these different groups of people in the summer of 1862. Here is the video. As I stated before, Little Crow was well respected not only within his community, but outside of his community as well. And so when we think about the start of the war, I asked you earlier in the week to come up with a chronological list of events that happened during the war itself. And so I'm going to go through the key or main events of the Dakota War. If at any time you feel you need to pause the video to add or edit your events, by all means do that. So, event number one. On August 17th, 1862, 4 young Dakota killed 5 settlers near the town of Acton. Little Crow, that evening of August 17th of 1862, was very hesitant at first, but in the end he did agree to lead his people, the traditional Dakota, into war. He really felt like he didn't have a choice. Again, think of what they're going through. Think of the tensions that the traditional Dakota are having, not only with the Farm Dakota, but with the U.S. government with regards to the annuity payments, the traders stopping them from getting any food from their stores. And so there was a lot of tension that had built up prior to this. And so why would 4 young Dakota kill 5 settlers near the town of Acton? They killed them over eggs. Again, they were starving. And so really, that's really what caused the Civil War, that tension that the traditional Dakota people had towards all these other groups of people during this time, or the summer of 1862. The following day, on August 18th, 1862, the Dakota attacked the Lower Sioux Agency, killing traders, and then moved east, killing U.S. soldiers. Over 300 people, including women and children, were killed in the first 2 days, including a trader by the name of Andrew Myrick. If you remember Andrew Myrick, he made a comment along these lines. As far as I'm concerned, if they're hungry, they can eat grass. Guess what? One of the 300 people killed in the first 2 days was Andrew Myrick. He was found dead with grass stuffed in his mouth. The Farm Dakota at this time feared for their lives. They wanted no part of this. Okay, they had already changed. They had become more along the lines of what a European American was with regards to farming, cutting their hair short, wearing the European American clothing rather than the traditional Dakota clothing. And so they feared for their lives, and settlers themselves feared for their lives and were fleeing their homes. The Dakota attacked New Ulm and Fort Ridgely, but the settlers of New Ulm really pushed back at the time against the Dakota. That was really, in my opinion, one of the turning points of this short war. In time, Colonel Henry Hastings Sibley would lead more than 1,400 soldiers into southern Minnesota and battle the Dakota. From there on, it was just a matter of time before the war would end. The traditional Dakota were far outnumbered, and those U.S. soldiers had far better equipment, okay, to use in battle. And so the war ended on September 23rd, 1862. The war was a 6-week war. But to the Dakota, it was important that they stand up for themselves because of what was happening to them, because what would happen to them if they didn't do anything at all. The problem was, what would this lead to? What would be the aftermath of the war? What actions would the U.S. take upon them for killing 70 soldiers, 500 settlers? And yes, there were approximately between 75 and 100 Dakota warriors who were killed as well. But nonetheless, you're talking about roughly 570 U.S. soldiers and settlers that were killed. 500 settlers. It's a lot of people during that time period. And so now that the war is over, what happens next to the Dakota? That's what we're going to find out soon. All right. As always, sixth graders, if you have any questions for me with regards to anything with regards to the U.S. Dakota War of 1862, please don't hesitate to contact me, or if you have any questions for your HOA teacher, please feel free to contact them as well. Take care, sixth graders, and have a great day.